How you guys doing? So, Kazuo Maeda here of the Starr Mazer team. Let me go ahead and mute my audio. Sorry, everything you hear in the background, that's Don and everybody. They're doing their thing right now, running around and doing some really cool stuff for Imagos Films. Let me get this. Okay, so wanted to give you a quick update about what's going on for today. So we plan on playing some games, and all that good stuff for you guys. As I said, right now, Dawn and Vanessa, aka Skinny Tie and Filmette, are running around with Mariah Zook, the producer of Starr Mazer, recording a couple of lines for some of our other projects we're doing with Imagos Films. But I wanted to make sure that we didn't start too late today, so even though they're busy and things are kind of still up in the air because we just got back from Austin, Texas for South by Southwest, we still wanted to make sure that we put on a good show for you guys. So while they're still doing that, I decided to jump on air. Sorry if you guys would rather listen to the music than listen to me. So let me give you guys a breakdown about what's been happening lately. So as of a few weeks ago, Dawn and Vanessa attended GDC, which is basically a big game developers conference in San Francisco, California. There, they met with many other developers, showed Starr Mazer, and overall gave a very enthusiastic performance about Starr Mazer. So a lot of the cool indie devs out there in San Francisco now know all about us, and we're just making a splash. So here returns Vanessa Williams.
Hi there. Are we recording? Are we live right now?
We are currently live.
Oh, hello everybody. I'm sorry. We were trying to get Dawn out here and me out here so that we could all like hang out and be here ready with you, but we are multitasking big time.
Yeah. So I was just telling them how you guys were at GDC.
Yes.
So since I wasn't at GDC, why don't you tell everybody how everything went down?
GDC was like completely insane and incredibly powerful and interesting and useful for Starr Mazer as the game. Hello, Ezrian. What I would say is it's nothing like PAX. So my expectations were immediately slightly off, which was good in the best possible way. PAX, you're there for the consumer and the fans, and GDC, I had no idea what to expect because it's just other game devs and other people who run companies, and so the way that PAX or the way that GDC works is you kind of meet up with your peers and you have discussions with potential people you might want to work with. You have meetings with like old and new friends, and it was just an incredible like tornado of constant meetings, constant like hangouts with people. We met up with a lot of large companies that were very interested in Starr Mazer in all sorts of capacities. We met up with companies that wanted to do our merchandising. We met up with companies, and I know Don will tell you more about the specifics of the results of what happened from GDC, but we had incredible experiences. I mean, you're right there. You're there with Nintendo. You're there with Xbox. You're there with Microsoft, I should say. You're there with all sorts of packaging companies and people who want to do your t-shirts, and people who want to do your posters, and people who want to put your game out, and people who want to do music for you. And it's a great collaboration space. So we had an awesome, very, very successful time there. In fact, I put together all the business cards from our entire trip, and it's a stack like this big. It's bananas. The other cool thing that happened at GDC, which I'm sure Austin mentioned, is we also went to an event called The Mix. And there, a bunch of indie devs went to IGN, corporate headquarters, and we were allowed to like set up little booths and show off our games, our respective games. And there were probably like 50 different games there. There was quite a few. There were 2 rooms, and we were all kind of stacked next to each other. Starr Mazer was the only game there without a playable demo, and we were the best booth there. I mean, like, hands down. It was incredible. We had Austin and Dawn flanking either side, yelling at everybody who walked past, which were all like industry professionals, other game devs, and other really cool people. They were screaming at the top of their lungs about how incredible Starr Mazer is, getting people interested, getting people seeing it. Did a bunch of interviews just on the spot, and there's a really good, is it a Polygon article that came out?
Polygon recently released an article that was basically chatting with the developers and everything. Every time we said anything, it was always in caps because we were yelling.
It was so good. If you guys haven't read that article yet, it is perfect. It is exactly what it was like there. And it was so much fun. I actually made the mistake of going in heels. Not even big heels, just like little boot heels. I like wanted to cry by the end. It was like 5-6 hours of total madness, and it was so much fun. And hanging out and building relationships with other people in the industry was incredible. I really enjoyed it a lot. Although I have to admit something. I might have to confess something on.
Live on Starr Mazer TV. This is more leaks.
Okay. So before I left to go to GDC, I met up with my mom because I needed to give her my cat. My cat is really old and ill. You guys have seen her back. She's adorable, but she's like a zillion years old and she needs medication, and I couldn't leave her for 3 weeks without assistance. So I met up with my mom to pass her over, and I spent like half a day with my mom driving around doing chores, and my mom told me partway through that she was really sick. And I was like, oh, like, well, it's cool, don't worry, Mom, like, thanks for powering through and picking up a cat. So I then, get rid of the cat, get rid of the mom, go on a plane, go to GDC, have a great time at GDC, get to PAX East, and I get really sick. Like, really, really sick. Really sick. So I do PAX. I shake hands with everybody. I'm fine for the first day, and then the second day, by the end, I'm not feeling so hot, and by the third day, I'm kind of definitely not feeling so hot, but I'm just powering through. So then we have a couple days where we have downtime in Boston before we fly over to South by Southwest. And I just spent it in bed, being some of the sickest I've ever been. And then fly out to South by Southwest, where I kind of pull myself together. I'm still sick the first day. I'm still sick now. You can hear it. I'm still sick the first day. Second day I'm feeling a lot better, but it's still not 100%. I'm just kind of power through. So now we're back, and we've been checking the Facebooks, and pretty much everybody that we met up with is now really sick.
Pass it around.
I think I created the PAX Pox this year, and the GDC disease, whatever it is, and the South by Southwest sorrow. I made it. I'm sorry, you guys. I spread it. I was patient zero. I'm so sorry.
Fun note, Dawn also got sick.
Yes. Dawn is now sick. He got it at the end of South by Southwest. That's the thing, is you don't know it for a couple days, so it's perfect. It's the perfect disease. You have a couple of days to just be fine and feeling great, and you're just passing it on.
Oh, we didn't get Fool to Dream sick.
Oh, I didn't.
Also, you didn't get me sick either, which is super cool.
That is super cool. Yet.
But
yeah, I mean, Fool the Dream, keep us updated, because I'm worried. And also, Dawn was then passed on at that point when we hung out with you. So I'm hoping, but let us know in a week, because that's kind of how it seems to be working. John Robert Matz, sick. The awesome violinist that John Robert Matz works with, now sick. I think oh my gosh, all these really cool Jeff Ball, he's now sick. I don't think Austin's sick yet, but I don't know. But we're seeing it pop up all over Facebook. No, I'm sick. And I'm oh my god, it's all these people that we hung out with for a day. Sorry, Fool the Dream. Sorry. Fist bumping is super legit.
Super plague.
It's a super plague. So anyways, just you guys now officially know who caused the PAX Pox this year, or at least all the hundreds of people I shook hands with. I'm sure it didn't affect anybody at all, I'm sure it didn't pass it on.
So it sounded like your trip to GDC was very fruitful.
Yeah.
Very cool. Especially I put the Polygon article in the comments, so they can check it out there, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, you spread around the disease. And then you guys packed up from San Francisco, I packed up from Seattle, and we all headed down to Boston for PAX East, where we met up with the Robot Loves Kitty crew to talk with them about their game Upsilon Circuit, which was really cool. And then that was also very interesting because we came there without the intention really of showing Starr Mazer, because we were there to really just kind of view and help out other people. And it turns out we were able to craft our own kind of makeshift booth at PAX East, which was really cool. Now, if you excuse me, I have to grab something from Mariah real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was pretty cool, and oh my God, it's a wild dawn in the house.
A wild dawn appears.
His house.
Hello.
So we just talked a little bit about GDC.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't spoil anything. I didn't tell them any like official things, but I just said that it was very good, and we met up with all kinds of people. Goodbye, Mariah.
That was Mariah Zook, everyone. She's she doesn't want to say hello to
You guys saw her play
you.
Madden and other great
She spent too
games.
much time with you apparently. She doesn't want to say hello.
I'll be right back to grab they're keeping the car.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, there it is. Hi.
Just sitting there.
Oh, okay, sure.
Hey guys, sorry, I would let her finish, and then I will answer all of your things, whatever happening.
So the other thing I told them is I confessed to them live on the air that I probably was the cause of PAX this year.
Yeah, it's her fault. She did it, and I think it was sourced from your mom, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was.
So she hung out with her mom just before we went on the trip, and her mom was deadly sick. And a day later, she got she started to feel sick.
My mom didn't say, by the way, I'm super sick. I don't know that I should come drive up to Seattle, drive the hour up to Seattle, see you, hang out with you, and get the cat. No. I could have figured out a thing. But no, she just shows up and we're hanging out and she's like, oh, by the way, I'm not feeling too well. She was super grumpy. My mom's not normally grumpy. She was super grumpy for no reason. I didn't know what was going on, and it turns out she was ill.
Yeah, well, we went to GDC. She was a little sniffly a couple of days in, and then it happened. We got to PAX, and it was just the worst. She was all over the place. She was a big mess.
I was a big mess.
She was dressed up all pretty. She had her hair all done up. She had makeup on, and she was still a big mess. It wasn't a big mess. You worked hard to not come off as a big mess. I don't think anybody would know if they didn't know you. No. But after hours, man, giant mess.
Yeah.
Huge mess. It's fine.
Like I said, during our downtime in Boston, I was in the bed. I was in our producer's parents' house, in their bed, not their bed, but in a guest bed.
Like a guest bed, yeah.
For 3 days. It was so, in retrospect, so embarrassing. You are a guest in someone's house and you're just sick.
Yeah.
You're
so
just
we actually went and did a few things for 2 days without you. You
I have no
remained
idea
at
what
the
you
place.
did. Who even knows?
We were having a bank or two. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Don Thacker, director of Starr Mazer. This is Vanessa Williams, lead writer at Starr Mazer. There's also Kazuo Maeda. He'll be on the show today as well. I know you guys already did all this, but it's just something I have to do traditionally because I'm back. It has been an incredible run. I don't know what she's told you already, but we were gone for 3 weeks. I know you've kind of watched Starr Mazer TV as we were gone. And Mariah and Austin and everybody kind of held it down for us. And that's really cool. We experienced some cool stuff, guys. We locked a fulfillment deal with a vendor that we'll release information about as soon as I sign a thing and know that I can do it. We handshook in San Francisco. It's very nice. Yeah. It may or may not be the fulfillment company that we may or may not have featured somebody from on our show at one point. So we don't know. I don't know. It's secrets. I can't tell secrets. We also, I'm pretty sure we're going with a publisher, a pure publishing deal, by the way, which means that we do our stipulation on every publisher that's talked to us has been that we don't change our plan. We don't change it. They don't have creative rights. Our rights remain entirely with us creatively, and that's because we've made a promise to you. We have what we've been referring to, and I know I've mentioned this on other shows, as the 50-55. Everything has to service the 50-55, which is you guys, the 5,055 people who helped make Starr Mazer come to fruition. But the publisher deal will offer us getting onto the platforms we want to get to. It doesn't mean that we're getting rid of our stretch goals. Everything we can get before we get to deliverable with a publisher will allow us to do things without publisher control. Now the cool part is, like I said, the publisher that we're dealing with at this point is super open to being completely hands-off creatively and giving us access to a lot of their marketing muscle, which is at this point, I believe, very big. They're a name you know. S-Rain asks, does this mean a 3DS version? It could. It very, very well could. I would like to make, if we get to there, if I have a lockdown, I want to make a distinct announcement. But it's definitely a possibility. But what I fear is that we will move away from trying to get the word out there and kind of lean on the publisher, and I don't want to do that until we have a game. Between now and game, I want all of us Mazers need to be constantly pushing to get to stretch goals, to get pre-sales and all those cool things.
And the other cool thing is just like getting people to be involved and be a part of the awesome game that we're making.
Yeah, of course. There's that.
Like getting to pre-buy a game and help see it be made and get additional like cool goods because karmatically you helped somebody out.
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately like that's incredible. I think that message won't be lost.
So there's that. There's the publisher. So at this point we've got publisher option. We've got fulfillment lockdown, which means you guys are definitely gonna get your stuff. Cyber Kuma, this is definitely one of those famous Starr leaks you've heard so much about. We hung out with Elspeth at GDC, Elspeth Eastman. It was incredible. We ate burgers with her. We went to parties with her. We had all kinds of fun with Elspeth Eastman.
I got Elspeth Eastman into a party.
You did. She actually talked Elspeth Eastman into a party.
It's true.
Which is super incredible at GDC. Normally they're very like strict about those things, but
I had like hobnobbed at that mix that I told you guys about. I had like hobnobbed with the person of like one of the bigger parties and was like, hey, can we get in? And she was like, yeah. I gave her like fucking like tens of people to get in, and then on the day I was like, hey, can I also get this person in? I felt so cool.
It was pretty cool.
I've never gotten to be cool before. It was pretty rad.
Didn't you at that same party, I'm going to stroke my beard quizzically,
yes,
didn't you also talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with someone for a while? Didn't that happen?
Oh, that was a different party, but it was
the same party. So check it out. I walk over and lo and behold, there's Vanessa Williams, lead writer of Starr Mazer, speaking face to face, and by the way, literally face to face. Dude's pretty short, with Jim Guthrie.
Yeah, he's a
just
really nice guy.
No big deal. He's fine. Just a guy. Whatever.
This is the crazy thing. Okay, so I'm super new to the game industry, like super new. I've been working in film for a very long time, in television and commercials, but I'm new to games, so I don't know who the hell these people are. I just knew there was a cool dude. We were hanging out. He was cool. I was cool. We were talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's about my brother's age. We were discussing like the generation gap. We were discussing. I had my 8-bit TMNT shirt on with like. I borrowed Cheese Pizza's hat, so I had like the pizza underside. I was like the only person dressed crazy at this party, but I was having a great time, and it was a good conversation starter for people because we could instantly discuss things like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and there was this nice guy named Jim.
It's super easy for Jim because what he does is he comes over and you're like, hi, I'm whatever from whatever indie game company or large massive corporation, whatever, and he just goes, hey, I'm Jim. Shakes her hand.
Oh,
and talks
so
to you
cool.
like it's no big shakes.
Yeah,
he's just Jim.
He's super mellow. He has no like chip on his shoulder. He doesn't think he's like too great for any. He's just like, hey, I'm a dude who did a thing.
It's pretty cool. Also, in a totally separate party, I walk up. It's the Adventure Games party. This is ridiculous. I'm talking to the guys who made Myst and Riven and everything. We're all kind of chit chatting, and I look over. Those guys are at Cyan Studios. I look over, and lo and behold, there's Vanessa probably talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. With Dave Gilbert, like, it's no big deal.
No, we were talking about his kids.
Talking about his kids.
And we talked a little
bit
about
just whatever,
pizza.
Legends, who cares?
We talked about,
yeah, of course you talk about pizza. You're talking about pizza with Dave Gilbert. I don't even... He had heard of Starr Mazer, by the way.
He had. Pretty awesome. Yeah, like, he actually came over and talked to me. I was talking to somebody else, and he, like, came over and made his way over and introduced himself. Not because he necessarily knew who I was, but I think it was because I was a newcomer at an adventure party, and it's a small group of people who meet up pretty regularly. So he was just super friendly. We chatted about all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So we had a pretty good time at GDC. Yeah. Anything else that I'm missing that happened? We went to the Valve party, which was insanity. It was like 9,000 nerds all crammed into a bar with kind of giant music, and nobody could talk, which is really weird. Why have that as a networking event?
That was the stupidest idea. Dear Valve, you're an idiot.
No, that's not Dear Valve, you're an idiot, please. That's not a thing.
No, it's true.
They threw a party. People seem to be enjoying themselves. It just wasn't
a party
in
like a rave dungeon somewhere.
Yeah, there was like a basement and stuff.
There were like fucking 3 or 4 layers to it, and you couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
It like smelled.
But Glitch Mob was there.
Horrible.
So, what up? We hung out with Andy from Rockets there. He came over. He was Canadian drunk, which is good and difficult to do.
I remember talking to Andy.
Yeah, because it didn't look like Andy, man. He just comes rolling over. He's like, hey, I'm Andy from Rockets Rocket. I'm like, I know the guy. Like we've talked a bunch.
Which room?
We were in the glitch mob room, the big one with the dome.
Yeah, where the
he's like say hi to Austin, for me.
Everybody said say hi to Austin.
Yeah.
Everybody knew Austin.
Austin was there, by the way, at GDC. So why we're telling people
Cyber Akuma, he was incredibly interested about She's Pizza. We're talking about Dave Gilbert.
Oh yeah.
And he actually added her on Twitter on the spot.
Yeah, and it's pretty great.
It was pretty cool.
So anyway, we went to that party. We went to the Epic party, which was epic. The one with the lasers and the confetti and the crazy. I have a bunch of Vines and stuff. If you follow me on Vine, I'm Skinny Tie on Vine.
I was the most out of place I've been in that whole night. But it was cool. We just took pictures. I was completely the worst.
There was just sound. There was no networking. We tried to talk to a bunch of people.
More networking there than the Valve
people
party.
were interested in talking. At the Valve party, people were interested in getting drunk, getting crunk, and rubbing on each other. It was very weird.
Yeah.
But at the Epic party,
game devs, it's very weird.
We got together with some other devs. We climbed up on the laser projector DJ stage because when I roll hard in the paint.
Yeah, it was cool. By the way, Toast Beef, no hi Austin. He's not here.
No.
He doesn't get a hi.
No.
Just because everyone and their mom knows Austin. Everybody, no big flank, no.
Kazuo, what's that
Stop
photo?
it.
I want to see what the photo is. The photo on the chat.
Stop it.
So anyway, the cats have missed us a great deal. So this one, Bitwise, is super lovely. She's
She doesn't normally even she's not a lap cat.
Yeah.
Usually. Starleaks.
You guys don't know this, but Vanessa's favorite food is the leek.
It's my favorite food. That makes
So
me
there you
so
go.
happy. Starleaks.
So anyway, so that was GDC. We met up with Tasty Forever there. That was pretty cool. We met up with Akash the Car, Ryan Ike, John Robert Matz, Michaela, who did the violin.
That's where I got sick as well.
Yeah, she's also dead sick. John Robert Matz is sick, so you got him sick too. I don't know what you were doing with those two. We hung out with Jacob Purnell for his birthday, which was amazing.
So cool.
We had a great time. We ate at a mall food court for his birthday. I asked for a beef sandwich, and they gave me 14 beef sandwiches. It was the coolest. Yeah. So
At Bart, we met at the GDC Microsoft thing.
Cool.
Dude,
Bartley, that's amazing.
I don't know who you are because of your hush hush name.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. GDC was incredible and we had such a good time.
So also Von Osborne says, I didn't realize there was a Canadian drunk. We just call it drunk. No, see, there's regular American style drunk where you people drink on Thursdays and Saturdays or something. And when they get drunk, it's super effective. And then there's Canadian drunk, where drunk is mostly a way of life, but to get drunk, you have to drink way more and go all the way. And that's what we're talking about when we say Canadian drunk.
But still so polite.
But the mega polite,
Australians.
Dude, you guys started knocking over glasses and shit.
They just love.
There's an Australian dude tried to beat me up. He didn't really try to beat me up, but he contacted me.
All the Bundle people are Australians.
I'm in this weird zone where I could totally say the guy's name, but I don't know if we're doing that, if we're saying people's names. But I met a guy who was a cool dude, super cool dude, but he sent me our Kickstarter and Facebook messages about Starr Mazer as we were going, and I completely didn't respond. I was just caught up. I missed the message.
Yeah.
And he comes over and he's like, hey, Blake, or whatever. Hey, mate. And I can't do Australian. I'm sorry, guys. And he comes over to me, and he grabs me. And he's like, yeah, too right. I'm that guy that did. And he just started, he told me that he was the guy who is the one who messaged me. And I'm like, I respond to every message. You did not do any such thing. And he goes, I've been waiting for this moment, mate. And he pulls it up, and he's like, see there? That's you ignoring me. And I was like, oh, shit. And so I apologized. I added him back. He sent me a friend request. It was a whole kind of thing. But we're best buds. But yeah, drunk Australians at the basement of the Humble Party was the best. They were knocking shit over and yelling. And hey guys, I gotta talk about something. I don't know if I should be talking about this. I'm gonna talk about something. It's a personal thing.
Okay.
It's completely fictional. I have to preface by saying it is 100% entirely fictional. So anything that comes out of my mouth after this point recognizes happening entirely in my own head and is probably not real at all. 0% real. But I think Alexander Bruce has a personal vendetta against me. I actually don't think that. I think that Alexander Bruce... I had a conversation at Steam Dev Days with Alexander Bruce. I showed him Starr Mazer. This was near half to more than half a year before the Kickstarter. I showed him Starr Mazer. He just talked about like how to make it as an indie. Everybody up there was like, well, he was on a panel, and there were two other dudes, and one of them was like, well, I worked at Microsoft for a long ass time or something. I don't know. I worked at some big company for a long period of time, and then decided to go on my own. So I took my massive savings and did all this stuff. The other guy was like, well, the way you do it is you get with the publisher, you blah 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 blah, all this stuff. And he was the only guy who was like, I just made a game, and it was good. And I won some awards, and I showed people, and everybody loved it, and I got a bunch of money from touring, and he was like so indie, like so perfectly indie. So I ran up to him after this talk, and I'm like, hey man, I'm super inspired by your story. I just want to let you know, I'm trying to make this game called Starr Mazer, and I would love for you to look at the trailer. It's only 38 seconds long. Have a peek, tell me what you think. And he's over at the drink bar, not the drink area, like the drink area. There wasn't a bar. It was like a they had these little tables with snacks and drinks and shit. And he's getting a drink, and there was like a bar. He's actually getting like a soda or something, a juice or something. And he looks at it, and it's 38 seconds long. You guys know you paid money because you saw it, you liked it. I showed it to him, and he looks at it, and then he like turns his head halfway through. And he looks back, and he's completely disinterested. And I get that he was just on stage, and I've been on stage hundreds of times. I've been in front of massive crowds. I know what it's like to step off and have some Momo run up to you and be like, hey man, I want you to look at my thing. But if somebody cares, like if they're a human being and they come to you, that's a human being, right? So, granted, I'm saying this, he probably was totally into it and loved it. But in my brain, I'm just watching this guy like look away from a 38-second piece. And then he looks at me, and he's like, I'm like, so what do you think? And he's like, I think I've probably blown it out of my mind. Like, I've blown it out of proportion in my mind, but I said something like, he said something like, and you think people will like that? And I was like, yeah? And he's like, why? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, well, good luck. And he walks away. And, we had a moment. Like, he looked at me and he literally asked me why would people like Starr Mazer, and then, or if I thought people would like Starr Mazer, and I said, yeah. And then he wished me luck and walked away. Like I said, I'm positive this is fictional. I'm positive I've made up in my brain the sort of response that I've gotten. But I've seen, he goes to every event. Like, if there's an event where a video game, like somebody drove by with a 3DS, guy is in the event. Like, if there's any kind of event that has anything at all to do with video games, the smell of video games is near the event. Dude's there. And I'm there too. And yeah. Dude's always like, he's always, like, I'll be on this side of the room, he'll be on that side of the room. I'll walk this way, he'll walk this way. I'm positive he has zero interest in me. He doesn't know I'm there. He doesn't see me. But there's this weird faded thing where, like, everywhere I go, he's just, like, fucking on the other side of the room.
Did you orbiting. Guys talk at all in the last 3 events?
Not at all. And he's been at every single one. And it can't be possible that I go from room to room and he's also in room to room and he doesn't see me. I'm a loud motherfucker. I'm yelling at people. Yeah. I got other drunk Australians yelling at me. I got everybody screaming, and it's great. We're having...
He's Australian?
I think he's Australian.
I would say, like...
All I got from him was the talk, which you could have been Australian or... There's a whole area of the world that sounds generally like that to an American ear. And then he said, you should have people like that. And I was like, Von Osborne, I don't think he's jealous. Man, that guy did his game is incredible. You can't say he's jealous. He's made an incredible game. He has nothing to be jealous of. Every time you see him, he's a guy who's doing. He pulled out from his boots. He went from nothing in the games industry to something. Everybody else you see on the fucking on the panels, they're all somebody who had all this clout behind the companies and like whatever. Right. He just did it. And I was like, that's a guy I need to talk to. And to have that guy just be kind of like, bleh. I mean, listen, look, I'm sorry, Alex Preston from Hyperlight Drifter, you meet that dude, he is so chill that you think he's an asshole. Yeah. he's not an asshole in any way. He's like the coolest dude, but he's so like, yeah, okay, yeah, what, okay, cool. No, good luck. Sure, whatever. Seems like a cool idea. That's how he feels like, and you know that he's like doing Hyper Light Drifter, and that plus him being like sort of like, yeah, man, nice to meet you, whatever. Like that, those two things make him feel kind of like an asshole. But you talk to him for a few minutes, or he's called me back on the phone. Like we've talked a bunch. I know the guy is like a complete like sweetheart. He's amazingly cool. So I know you can come off a way, but this guy, every time I see him, he's just like, that's that cool guy that fucking would never like talk to me.
Can I just say a thing?
I feel like I'm Kevin Smith talking about fucking like Bruce Willis right now.
You are. This is the problem. Okay, I know you're doing some real talk, and this is really cool, and you've got all the support in the world from everybody who's here in the chat. They're all saying like basically, bro's just jealous, or you know, you've got backers. Don't give a fuck, dude. Can I just say a thing?
Please say the thing.
Like, what? Why do you shouldn't care?
Because I respect people. I respect the guy. He does good work.
Well, if the guy doesn't respect you, don't worry about it. You don't have to talk to him. You don't have to be friends with everybody you meet. He doesn't maybe there's something about you that rubbed him the wrong way. Maybe, like he was busy. Maybe he felt like shit. Maybe he had to go puke. Maybe he'd just been dumped. Who knows? Who cares?
But like every event, like the other Australian guy who I literally ignored, he came up to me and he's like, hey mate, you ignored me. Let's be friends. Like that was really cool.
Yeah,
it was not Australian. I'm sorry.
He was a different person. He was a different human being than the other guy. Just because they're Australian doesn't mean they're all going to be friendly and jovial.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, this guy, like, whatever the deal is, who cares? You're making an amazing game. You've got an incredible team.
No, it's true. And I'm watching right now. They're like going. I'm watching on the chat. They're going fucking. They're going
like,
anonymous on him right now. They're like I've logged 0 minutes in his game. Fuck that guy.
You just Starr leaked that this is a leak. You just Starr leaked that there's like potential publishers. You've already told everybody that we've got fulfillment deals for our physicals. Like we have 5,055 people who believe in you and back the project.
Us, not just me. Us.
Not
the thing was, it wasn't just me. It was Starr Mazer. I didn't show the guy like a picture of my dick. I showed him Starr Mazer, which is us.
Walked past our thing, was like, "Oh, is the Kickstarter over? I can't believe I missed it. I'm gonna go home and give money to you right now."
Right.
And that's like over half the people that we talked to.
That's true.
Didn't even like. So that 5,055 is probably 20,000 people who have heard of it and who believe in the project.
Yeah.
5,055 people who put their money into it. Like. This is one dude, and I don't know what the status of his game is. I don't know what the.
And his game is a cool game. That's the thing. Like,
so what? That's great. A lot of people make cool game. Remember that other guy from that cool game that we met who was a total jerk to Alex and Calvin? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about. I talked to him at the
individuals,
humble
and they're allowed
party.
to
He was
suck.
also a jerk there too.
And it's cool. Like we're better and bigger than that. And the best thing you can do is have a successful game and then not worry about that guy anymore. If he has anything of value to contribute to your life, he'll approach you next time. But if he doesn't and you guys don't intersect again, maybe it's for the best.
Sure, that's fair. I get it. I just. I feel like it was really weird because I had just come off of talking to a bunch of people who were really into Starr Mazer and look guys, there's this thing. I'm a filmmaker and a game maker. I've made an award-winning feature film that's doing really well right now on the market. I've done game stuff that's won awards. I've done it's very I was talking to Ryan Ike and Akash Thakar about this. If you're a maker and you care about the thing you're doing, you tend to have what they call imposter syndrome, which is like if you do it and it works, you kind of lucked out. If it fails, of course it fails. You're a piece of shit, right? So when you see somebody who's made it and you have something that looks like it's getting some attention, and I'm not looking to any one person for like sort of validation. I've been floating outside. I've been working in the games industry for 6 years. I've been working in the film industry for longer. You have a cat hair in your mouth.
I had cat hair everywhere.
I've been trying to feel like I'm part of a thing. Rami Ismail sat there on my fucking couch, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You guys are doing a thing."
Yeah.
And what I thought at that moment, you guys can watch it on Starr Mazer TV. If you look at me, I kind of go like this at that moment. What I'm thinking is, well, no, everybody else is. Like Vanessa and Kazuo and everybody in Austin, they're all doing it. I'm just winging it. And it's... Yeah, it's my game, but it's not my game without them, without you, without Kazu. I can't do it. And so I just wanted this one moment where like developer, and when you see that not happen, I can't think to myself, oh, it's probably because Alexander Bruce is an asshole. Like I don't think that. I don't think that at all. Yeah. What I think is I'm missing something, some validity, and I don't know what it is. And I feel like, is my game going to suck if I don't have it? Oh, by the way, we have a bunch of good news about how great the game is going, so forgive me for my personal stuff. I just know that, like, you guys like Starr Mazer TV and me being on Starr Mazer TV because we're open and honest.
Trust me, I have been... This is like month 8, or not. This is every single project. Don has a big heart, and he feels things pretty deeply, and when something gets to him, it gets to him, and it's so hard for it not to, because you care about everybody, and you care very deeply, and I think that's really cool.
They're human beings. Why wouldn't I care?
Well, because like
I can't just dismiss human beings.
No,
like,
but you shouldn't dismiss. Just like you've said to me in the past, like you shouldn't dismiss the positive just because of one negative.
I'm not dismissing. Don't get me wrong. I am not dismissing any of the positives.
Days hanging out with us,
he's the coolest dude.
Booth
yeah, he's
for
incredible.
For no reason, other than he's an incredible human being. He helped, like, he showed up places with us.
Yeah.
He told you several times how incredible you are.
Yeah, we had real talk. Ryan and I had some mad real talk. That guy, and here, you want to hear it? Okay, another admission number 2. This is what goes on inside of the little heart here. We're hanging out, he's giving me real talk, and he leaves the car, and I think to myself, oh man, I accidentally tricked Ryan Ike into thinking I'm cool. And like he's gonna go hang out with Akesh the Car and Jacob Purnell, and they're gonna be like real cool people together. And
that's like the crowd, like the cool kids, and you're like, I just want to make it in with the cool.
I just want to hang out with the cool guys. I'm just trying to make my
really
anyway.
Cool.
So yeah, that's that. I had to share that moment with you guys because that was a real thing that happened at GDC. I was at the Humble Party, and I had just spoken to the guy from Octodad. He came up to me. I was introduced to him.
I had a huge long convo with him too.
He looks at me and he shakes my hand and he goes, "You guys are doing something amazing." And my knees went weak. I was just like, "Oh no, but you made Octodad though." Like I couldn't believe it. I had people from the Crypt of the Necrodancer. 2 guys from there came over and talked to me. Both of oh God, they make good games. Like it was incredible. I just felt like I was tagging along for the coolest stuff. I got to hang out with the coolest people. I saw John Romero. I tried to take a picture of John Romero so I could make fun of him online.
It wasn't very successful.
No, I failed.
We didn't quite get him.
I saw his golden locks, which aren't golden. His brown,
locks.
his graying brown locks. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Ryan Ike. Part 2. That's what we said. Ryan Ike. Anyway, so that's that. What else? So that was GDC. We hung out with Tasty forever. We hung out with Elspeth. We hung out with... Oh, God. I went to a company, hung out with some people.
Yeah, that's true.
We went to Double Fine Entertainment. They hung out in their office. Jacob actually brought us there. He knows business guy Matt there. Mm-hmm. I hung out with business guy for a little bit, talked business. I also hung out with Tim Schafer for a little bit, talked business. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that was pretty neat. Got to see some offices, got to see some stuff that I'm not at all allowed to talk about, but my other company, Amigos Films, we're going to be interfacing with at some point, I'm probably sure. I don't know. Whatever. It's cool. Quantum Feline says, just think of all those crossovers. You're clearly part of the group. Thank you, Quantum Feline. And by the way, I would like to tell you guys, I'd like to apologize to Quantum Feline on Starr Mazer TV right now. That guy has come up with some incredible ideas for his tier, because he dumped a bunch of money into our game and he's got a cool tier. I've been reading them and I like them. I especially like the salvage one. We'll keep talking about it. I'm sorry I haven't gotten super back to you. We flew in yesterday and I've done a whole bunch of editing and writing and stuff for other projects that have nothing to do with Starr Mazer. We're wrapping up. Amigos Films is wrapping up a bunch of big projects, and we had to finish a whole bunch of stuff off. Things were waiting for the last minute. Quantum Feline caught on to my little implications there earlier. Sorry. Anyway, I apologize. As soon as the start of the week happens, we'll definitely get back to getting into everybody's, getting back to everybody, getting back into the group for Starr Mazer. Starr Mazer is being made. I want to talk about Maximo before we get going.
Yes.
I want to talk about PAX and South by Southwest.
Okay, so...
And then I want to get into our boxes, and then we're going to play some games.
Yeah, so exactly. That's what we've got for today. We're going to catch you guys up. We've already started to basically tell you what we've been up to for the last 3 weeks.
We're gonna talk about some announcements. We're gonna, as Don said, go through some cool things
Some
that
cool
arrived
boxes that
in
we
the
got,
mail.
yeah.
We just have a ton of mail. We got back and there's this
A
much
stack
mail.
of mail. But there's some cool stuff in there.
It's cool, and then we'll play a game after.
Yeah.
We're still deciding on which one we can set
Right.
up.
Yeah, whatever one we can set up fastest for you guys. I have a list of games I want to play. And we're going to take a 15-minute break and go do games, but not yet. Right now, we kind of went over GDC. I'm sure I'm missing a ton, and I'm sure I'll bring up some stuff. But let's move on to PAX East. PAX East had ups and downs. I was there working on Robot Loves Kitty's Upsilon circuit. I along with two coder guys, are in charge of this personality for this robot talking head thing. And at PAX East, it wouldn't work appropriately. So that was not as cool as it could have been. So there was some failure there. But I was able to spend some of that time at the Ninja booth. Did you talk about the Ninja booth?
The Ninja booth? Our booth?
Yeah.
I don't know. Kaz, did you tell them anything about our booth at PAX East?
Right before I had to leave, I remember mentioning that we were able to recreation a booth. Get a booth,
okay. So, yeah,
nothing in
you
detail.
guys have to hear the story. Don, do you want to tell them the story?
I'm kind of pissed, Bart. That you won the Surface thing. I wanted to win that. I put my name in, and I'm kind of pissed off. But maybe you can send it to me. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. So yeah. So we were at PAX, and we didn't have a booth. We weren't supposed to have a booth. We were just gonna show up. I was gonna work at Upsilon Circuit, and then these two guys, Vanessa and Kaz, were gonna, and as well as Josh Gelb, were gonna run around and be just Starr Mazer crazy. I know that Pizza showed up. She was gonna run around. So I'm hanging out, and I go back to the Upsilon Circuit booth. I ran around. I found Brick M. Stonewood, the standee of Brick M. Stonewood at PAX South. We had a standee. If you go look at Brick Pics on our Twitter feed, you'll see that we had a standee of Brick M. Stonewood, a big card or whatever foam core standee, big thick thing, and we had it up there, and we were having people take pictures of it. That was kind of one of the sells. And it was really sad we had to leave him there because we couldn't take him home on a plane or anything. But the PAX enforcers took him into their
for a party or whatever they were gonna,
we let them. We told them.
Know.
We said as long as you guys, before you get rid of him, if you take any pictures with him or whatever, make sure we know about it so we can post it. That'd be really cool. But apparently they kept him and they put him in the PAX sort of package. So he showed up at PAX East. He was in the enforcers sort of room. I'm sorry, I keep scratching my nose because there are cats all over me.
There's
Like
so
cat hair
much
everywhere. It's going everywhere.
There's everywhere. We need to brush the
them.
crap out of them.
So anyway, we found the brick standee. I was walking past one of the enforcer sort of rooms, and I found
Star Trek.
And I found we were fired. So
somebody's fired on the ship, Captain.
I found the brick thing. I walked in and I was like, can I have that for the day? I'll give it right back. And they're like, it's yours. I'm like, no, it's yours. You guys took it. You can have it, but I don't want to borrow it. So I brought it over to the Upsilon Circuit booth, and I was gonna stand there and just be brick for a while. And then I went away. I went to the bathroom or something. I came back and it was gone. And I asked the Upsilon Circuit dudes, I'm like, did you guys see what happened to brick? And they're like, oh no, is it missing? And I'm like, oh God, it's missing. And they said, oh, it wouldn't be beyond your fans to steal that because you guys love brick. So you guys, somebody showing up at PAX East and stealing it wouldn't have been a big deal. And I would have been cool with that, man. Like, we got our use out of it at PAX South.
Yeah.
It's basically democratized now. Brick belongs to the people. So Alex from Robot Loves Kitty comes over and she goes, so did you see what Vanessa did? I'm like, what's that? And she's like, you guys have a booth now. And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, right over there. And I turned the corner, and lo and behold, there's a booth, and it's got our business cards, not our Starr Mazer cards, our business cards, all over it. We've got a computer open, an iPad playing the trailer, and Pizza is running around the booth trying to get people over to the booth. It was just a table that was left at a booth. So she apparently, and I'm sure she can correct me if I'm wrong here, she just took a second to breathe, took a breather and sat down at an empty table and put her head down on it.
Yeah, actually, what happened was Pizza and Kazuo and Josh were walking around. We didn't have a distinct plan of attack. We were just gonna walk around, hand out flyers on the first day on the days of PAX. and just like try and talk to people who were around and get them interested in Starr Mazer. But it was going really, really horribly wrong, and no one would talk to us, and people were really into pizza and saying that it was the best costume ever, even though it's not a costume.
No, it's just pizza.
Pizza stood in line for pizza, got pictures with the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
Yeah.
But pizza's idea was lost on the people. They were too entranced by pizza rather than pizza being there to represent Starr Mazer. So Pizza took a break from hanging out with Kazuo and Josh because perhaps Pizza also got the cold that I had. It was not.
You guys were hanging out.
Hot.
It was easy to transfer.
It was easy to transfer. Yeah. And Pizza just slumped her cheese down, saw a couple of chairs, and like a table next to some dudes. It was empty. Kind of slumped her cheese down and fell asleep for like 10 minutes. But like Pizza wanted to represent, so Pizza took her like lanyard and flipped it up with the Starr Mazer info and laid it on the table and fell asleep. Then woke up to all these people like walking past, like staring at this like sleeping slice of pizza. I was confused. And then it occurred to both Pizza and myself at that moment that this was an empty booth.
Yeah.
And there were other people around, but this particular booth, they never showed up. Whoever was supposed to be there. And I don't know if you guys know much about PAX and the way it works, but booths are incredibly difficult to get a hold of. There's like a process if you want to be part of the indie.
Don't get too much into that. I want to talk about that in a second. So just get to the end. I want to.
So
not jump to the end, but I'm saying jump over the drama bit. I want to get to the drama bit.
Okay, cool. So Pizza and myself got in contact with Josh and Kaz and said, hey, we've got this idea. Could you come down to the Upsilon Circuit booth? Because, like, you can send out, like, one text every half an hour. Like, that's how congested everything is. So Kaz and Josh come down, and I was like, hey, let's, like, steal this booth over here. Like, let's just set it up. And they were like, yes, let's do it. Because we were just not making any traction. At that point, Kazuo was just walking around going, Starr Mazer, Starr Mazer. Let me tell you about Starr Mazer. Like, our cards hadn't even arrived, our postcards hadn't arrived in the mail because, like, Boston is a snowstorm, essentially, and it's impossible to get anything delivered on time. So we had, literally business cards for Imagos Films, which we took a silver Sharpie to and just wrote starmazer.com on, took out the iPad and, like, loaded up, or the laptop, and loaded up the Starr Mazer trailer, and then we just started talking to people, and we had this booth, and there were 3 of us, and we just started
Toast
going.
Beef showed up, right?
Yes.
At the first day. He showed up every single day.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so true. It was incredible. We got to meet so many incredible people, like you guys from the chat. It was actually really, really, like, amazing.
So
life-changing.
Are you gonna show something off?
So
look at this. That's day one.
First day. That's the first day.
Is that showing right now?
That's Pizza and Josh. That's all we had.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a laptop at that point. Yeah. We just had the iPad. It looks like.
Lose that for a second, and then we'll get to the next one.
Yeah. So that was day one.
I want to talk about something before we get too far into this.
Yeah.
There was some drama, and the drama wasn't brought to us to the very end. But I want to be clear about something. At PAX South, there was a booth that didn't show up, and to my knowledge, I don't know the whole story. It was kind of talked about. Rami actually took the booth, went and bought a television and held a nuclear throne tournament, and gave the television away as a prize, which was good. It was good for PAX because people got to experience something new and be entertained. Somebody won a television. It was good for Nuclear Throne. It didn't harm anybody. The person who had the booth wasn't there.
Yeah.
It seemed good, and it became kind of I didn't actually hear about this until after we did our thing, but it seems like that was cool and everybody loved it.
Yeah.
However, ours seems to have been perceived as slightly negative by some people. The trick is we took something in the indie showcase. We didn't take a thing in the indie showcase. There was nothing there. There was an empty table, and it was going to be an empty table for the remainder of PAX.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't even know it was part of the indie showcase, the indie dev showcase.
Oh no. Yeah.
The PAX East indie dev showcase. I just, because it's way up there and this rafters, the thing's hanging. I just saw that they were next to a table. There were some really cool games next to us. We got along really well with all but one of our booth partners or booth mates. We weren't really booth mates since we were never elected.
Talk about
and,
who.
No, of course not. But the guys next to us, we like hung out with, and we even took care of their booth for a while.
Yeah,
like when they went to eat and went to an interview, we took care of their booth. So we felt it was super indie.
Yeah.
The booth would have gone completely to waste. I brought it up to another dev friend of mine and just told him straight up, I'm like, listen, I want to know if I was a complete dick. I want to know if we were complete assholes by taking this. And he liked it. The analogy he used was, there's a bunch of people eating at a really exclusive restaurant, and you guys were walking in the back alley and found somebody threw out a really expensive meal and just ate the meal. It was post-purchased. It was post... It was just going to waste. It was just sitting there. And by our rights, we didn't take anything away from anybody. We helped out the people around us. We added to the PAX repertoire, the experience. We had a group constantly at the booth. The booth was nearly constantly full of people. We talked about everybody in the booth around us. We sent people around the booth to us. Whenever we were asked, we never said we were part of the PAX East Indie Showcase.
In
we
fact,
never
we
did.
told a lot of people, except for the enforcers, we told pretty much everybody that, hey, we actually, like, we stole this.
Yeah.
You know, so we made it very clear.
And we didn't really steal it. I mean, stealing it is a funny term to say. Like,
Yeah.
we said it as like, well, we're edgy and cool. And we all kind of like winked and nodded.
Yeah.
But we were approached
we're not
by
even
the lead
supposed to be there or
enforcer.
something.
We were approached by the guy who ran the mega booth, who has nothing to do with the showcase, but he asked us. We were approached by a number of the people who were featured in the booth, and it all seemed to be okay. But one dev, and by the way, this dev was not wrong. They worked really hard to be featured here. They worked very hard to be featured here, and they got featured. Mm-hmm. They worked very hard for a thing, and they achieved the thing. He came up to us and said, he didn't like the idea and that he felt put out because they worked very hard to get there. And I agreed with him. And I was like, I understand what you're saying. I completely agree with you. You worked very hard, but I didn't say this because the guy had a very valid point, but I don't understand what we took from him. We took nothing from him. The validity was there. Was it exclusivity? Because their booth was constantly full of people. Everybody's booth was constantly full of people. I don't think we took any crowd. I think everybody... But the thing that bothered me, the thing that hurt deep down inside, that hurt again, guys. The thing that hurt is he looked me dead in the face and said, it wasn't very indie of you.
I think that was just like the only way he could muster his like feeling into words. I think he was super pissed.
No, I get it. And he was
super frustrated.
And everything he said was valid except for it wasn't very indie of you.
No.
What we did is we bootstrapped a booth at a place where it's very difficult to get a booth. We did so to our opinion at the point. The guy didn't talk to us till after the show. During the show, we talked to the booth immediately on either side of us. They were cool. We talked to one kitty corner of us just because they came over and talked. Was very cool. And we also booth watched the booth next to us. We babysat the booth while the guy had to go do stuff. What is more indie than helping your fellow indie out? I don't get what was not indie about it. If Rami does it, it's indie. And by the way, Rami is like indie king. And somebody said something in one of the he gets away with anything. I don't think he gets away with anything. I think he does stuff, and he's a model. He's somebody, to me, he's somebody I look up to. We didn't steal anything. We didn't.
No. But
we were told if anybody ever showed up to claim the booth, we had to leave. We were hands up, ready to go.
Actually, this is one thing I did want to say and want to make this very clear is actually like so that first end of the day, like we were waiting and we kind of I discussed with Pizza and Josh and Kaz that like if anybody shows up, we'll move. It won't be a big deal. It's no big deal at all. And actually, at the end of that day, we talked to the booth next to us that we had like a really good relationship with, and we figured out who was missing, and we tried very hard to figure out what was going on with them.
Right.
We looked on their Twitter, on their website, on their Instagram, on their Facebook. We were trying to figure it out, and they hadn't updated it since last year. Nothing. They were a group that was overseas, and I think that they either just couldn't make it for some reason or another, or didn't bother. And we were under the understanding that at the beginning of each day, if we showed up and the booth was there, or if there was any question, if the people had arrived, we would definitely give it up. It was no big deal.
Right.
And I honestly think that like that's just like one person had an issue with a thing, and I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I think
Again, I'm not trying to come down on the guy.
So positive.
It was positive. We had an incredible let's show the second day. By the second day, we'd upgraded our stuff a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about the cool bit.
It was very cool. I'm sorry somebody said it was depressing. I just saw that it was by. I'm sorry. I don't mean it to be depressing. I'm not depressed. It was just these are ups and downs, man. We're not faking it. There's a real thing happening. That's day 2. Look at that right there. That's pretty incredible, guys.
So on day 2, we managed to get so you can see we brought our little square thing. The mix card is from when we did the mix at GDC.
Yeah.
We just happened
to have it with us
because we're like, oh cool, like whatever, like we'll just bring it in case it's useful at South by Southwest, because we knew we weren't gonna have a booth at PAX.
Yeah.
You can see by that point our postcards had arrived.
Yeah.
They'd arrived I think really late that day. They were supposed to come the day before. We have a laptop now. And we have the speaker is actually from Josh Gelb's parents.
It's his dad's office speaker, for listening to the radio or iPod or whatever.
Totally borrowed that to pump it up the gear, and then you can see the standee. Which we Cosmo.
Am I wearing literally the same outfit in that photo as I'm wearing right now?
You might be. I can't tell.
Anyway, keep going.
What
that was the
that
dumbest
is.
thing to interrupt you with. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. And you can see Brick. We shoved Brick. Because what I saw with Brick, I have a completely different story from you. What I saw was Kazuo walking by with Brick, and he said, "Look who showed up!" And I was like, "Oh my god!"
So you went to the Upsilon Circuit booth and stole him.
This was what it was.
Because I brought him to the Upsilon Circuit booth.
This is what happened. I'm sorry. You came back with a photo of Brick at Upsilon Circuit, and you were like, "Look who showed up!" And I was like, "Oh my god, grab him, bring him to the booth." And so you were like, "Yeah," and ran off, grabbed him, brought him back, set him up, and then I guess we just didn't
There's a funny
you.
story about that. Nick Wozniak from Yacht Club Games, the guys who did Shovel Knight, we're partnered with, he says he had the coolest experience. He was selling shirts or whatever, and he looks up and he just sees Brick walking by the booth, because Kaz was holding the standee sideways or whatever. He just saw Brick Stonewood walking toward his booth. It was pretty neat.
It was so cool.
So that's day 2 right there.
And Pizza was there on the first and the second, and the very tail end of the third day. So
and
Pizza
then
was
the
was
third day
frequently.
we had evolved. We'd reached our mega evolution.
You can see
We'd leveled
our
up.
crazy progress of booth-volution.
Yeah, our booth evolution. Boom, booth.
Yeah.
We gotta.
We've got a monitor.
A monitor.
Plus, which we borrowed from another dev team.
Yeah, which we'll talk about at some point. They had a game on
so
Kickstarter,
cool.
which is doing well.
I'm there. Pizza wasn't there at that point because Pizza was sick. Pizza showed up for the last couple hours after that day, so I filled in for her. We've got all the rest, but it's kind of differently rearranged. It was so much fun. It was so incredible. We saw so many cool people. Oh man. Oh, Cyber Kuma. No, I don't think we should say. I think
no, he's
really
talking about the guys who didn't show up.
Oh,
but I don't think we should say that either.
Yeah.
Number one,
Yeah.
because we don't want to. Their dad could have died or something. We don't know why they didn't show up. And number 2, I've forgotten. It's a French company.
Yeah, they're from France. I can't really I remember their game, but I can't remember the company name. Toast Beef, I can understand that he felt cheated, but no one saw that opportunity coming. It was a chance situation. You guys took it.
It was a chance situation.
And I actually totally agree. Like I can understand too, why he felt. There were other factors in play. When the enforcers came around at the end of PAX, the enforcers come around to every booth, and you fill in a response to how you felt the thing went for you, and there were 2 separate forms, and the guys next to us were really frustrated, and they told us about their experience at PAX, and it was extremely negative from
but
their
that didn't have anything to do with us, though.
No. What happened for them is they felt like they had no enforcer. You're supposed to have an enforcer for your area. They didn't have an enforcer. Nobody checked in with them. Literally, they showed up. Some monitors existed, and that was it. They didn't have any assistants. There was no coffee in the the dev area.
Yeah, the dev. We didn't even go to the exhibitor area, but it was a mess.
Apparently, in the exhibitor area, it was a total mess. For the group of people who we were in their section for, they had a speech, or not a speech, a panel that first night, and no one told them they had a panel. So only one of the 6 teams that were there were told or knew about it.
and showed up to the panel because none of them were told, so they had a bad experience. But on that side, some of them just had a really awful time, and it was just a poor experience for them. And I think that group probably had a very, very bad time, and we were just kind of icing on the cake. And I think we were there and available to talk to and be expressive towards.
Yeah, that's another thing. You guys know us. We're loud and we're like aggressive, and it was very excited and pretty nice.
We had a great time. And I think
we engage an audience.
us.
We have a big group in front of us at all times. And I can imagine if you're like, and I'm not saying any dev did this, but I'm imagining if you're a dev who's kind of like on his phone and like waiting for people to come up and talk to him or her or whatever, and not really engaging, or maybe you're not good at it, or you're nervous about it or whatever, it might be really discouraging to look at the people who stole the booth, just like having a giant group of people yelling and screaming, pictures
Having
and
a good
photos
time,
and
yeah,
cosplaying
and
and bricks all over the place, taking pictures with everybody. And
we were
Yeah.
we were loud and crazy, and we
Yeah.
were giving our
we're doing our
fans
thing. We're giving our all to make
a great time.
the thing
We were having
happen.
a great time. We took some incredible photos with different people. We had people who like would hang out at our booth and just not go.
Yeah.
They were like, nope, we're setting up shop
Yeah.
here. We're having a great time, and that was incredible for us. And I think we had a great experience, and they were having a bad experience, and I think that added a lot to it from my perspective.
Bartwee said something very interesting. He said, we lose moral ground a little bit because we stole the booth. That's what I'm worried about. The way I see it, and forgive me if this sounds self-serving, but that was an empty space. It was an empty space. A random person just like walked over and put her head on. It was literally an empty space. It would have served zero purpose the entirety of PAX East had Vanessa not sprung up a booth there. Nobody came and said, hey, we need it for somebody else. Hey, we need it for whatever. It was...
Oh, I think you misunderstood.
Oh,
Bartwee.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not going to defend it then.
No.
Like-
Yeah, I think
He says, no, you're fine. And I don't know why we're fine. I hope he's typing right now.
Yeah, no, I think that basically everyone's kind of on the same page as us. It was I think they had just more when teams try to do the same thing. I don't fully understand.
Yeah, I don't understand either. But I think that the trick is we would never have pushed ourselves into anything. We'd never have taken something from anybody. We'd never have decreased value in any way. Yeah. That's the whole point. We feel we've added value. And I think the crowd response, the continual fucking crowd response day after day, was very positive.
Yeah. I genuinely feel like they were having a bad day or a bad week, and they felt like it was we had a great time, and you know, we weren't even supposed to be there, you know, like I totally get it. But to me, like, PAX is that. PAX is a space for great games to show up and have a voice.
So can I throw something else in there?
Well, we did.
PAX for me, when I first went to PAX, my first PAX Prime, years and years and years ago, yeah, okay, Eclipse Husky, we get it. And I totally agree. I don't think anybody should purposely like seek out and steal booths. No, I completely against that.
It was super opportunistic.
It was super, it was a moment that just like appeared.
If we had thought that, first of all, we didn't get a booth because we weren't sure whether or not the Kickstarter would go through.
Right, yeah.
So we actually, this will never be a scenario that'll happen again for us.
No.
It was literally like, oh, hey, there's an empty booth. I feel not great, and our team like is not doing well at spreading the word on foot. Hey, it's literally an empty booth. Why not?
Right.
It was never like we're gonna show up and do it this way. And I think that that's where you have to like draw the line. And I totally agree. Like, I would never say that people should just like circumvent the system for the sake of it. I know people do. I know people set up like booths in lounge areas and in, you know, and that's cool.
That's actually cool. I'm cool with that. As long as you're not taking anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As long as you're not like shoving somebody out of the way, or you know, and that was the thing. We worked very closely with the booths next to us and had a very positive relationship with them. I'm gonna go ahead and take all the responsibility for the guy being in a pissy mood, because I definitely stole some of the Starbursts off their table.
Oh.
When we closed up shop, they had a little bowl full of them.
It's your fault.
And I ate like 2, at least.
Well, that explains it. I'm over here feeling like an asshole, and it's really just you stole the Starburst.
I stole some Starbursts.
I was
starving. And I made a decision, and I regret that decision.
So, years ago, when I went to PAX, I walked in. There was a sign. It was my first time ever being to Seattle. My first time ever being to PAX, and there were banners on the street. I was blown away. And I walked in, and I went to the keynote. It's the only keynote I ever went to because I was like an exhibitor from that point on. Well, not really. I did some BYOC for a couple years. Then I was an exhibitor. Anyway, I walk in, and Jerry Holkins gets up to the mic and says, "Welcome home," and everybody erupts. And from that moment, I felt like we were part of a thing. We were part of something big. We were part of a collection. This was before PAX East existed. This is just once a year they did a thing. Getting to the point, like jumping now to 2015, where we're now being told by another developer. By the way, a very successful developer with an amazing game that's doing super well without us being around or us. We could never hurt this game. This game is incredible. But that guy comes over and tells me I'm not indie because we took an opportunity to show our game at our home. Your home. This is where you can be. We're all trying to help each other. We're all trying to be together. No, we're not. We're trying to win contests and spend money and be the guy on top. But that's not what I thought we were there for. I thought
You know, I
thought we were there to like do the thing
a guy
together.
had an opportunity to tell you he was feeling a thing, and he told you the thing, and I think it's okay to just go, okay, he felt the thing.
Ugh.
We feel different things, and it's fine.
He's gonna team up with Alexander Bruce, and they're gonna.
You need to get
They're
out
gonna
of
make
your
a
head.
website.
What is wrong with you? Do you know what we've spent the last fucking 24 hours doing? I haven't slept yet, people. I just came off of a 3-week trip, and I got home, and I worked on a freaking 2 incredible things that are done.
Yeah, and they're very good.
What?
They're very good.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop it.
All right, fine. So, that PAX East ended up being really cool. We had some cool meals. We hung out with Keppa from Rocket Cat Games, which was always amazing. Keppa is one of our closest friends. Yeah, you were sick, but we hung the hell out with Keppa.
Fun.
We then, with Josh and Kazuo, went to, we got some seafood. There's a tweet. Can you show that picture? Yeah, oh, guys. Boston, seafood.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. Holy crap.
Seafood.
Get ready for this. Put it right over my face. Just put the picture right here, Kazuo. I need that picture right here on my face. You guys, oh man, are you ready? Just drag it over. Just give me, come on. Pull it up. Yeah! So you guys don't know this, but snow crab is absolutely my favorite food on earth. There's nothing better to me than legs of snow crab. I could eat snow crab until I died. I could eat 5,000 pounds of snow crab.
See how much
It's
food
the best.
there?
God damn it. That was, by the way,
We ate
we had not had
piece of that.
a celebratory dinner yet for succeeding at our Kickstarter, and that was it. Right here. That was
That
our
whole
celebratory
lobster?
dinner.
That was
Look.
Kazuo.
That was Kazuo's lobster right there, guys.
Yeah.
That right there. Oh, other side. Sorry. That was the Kazuo's lobster. That's the Kazuo lobster.
Toast beef. I actually totally took off that bib shortly after that because it was getting in my way and I super didn't need it at all. I don't understand the bib culture.
Yeah, neither do I. But anyway, that was us. That was our. We had a great time.
There was so much butter. Cyber Akuma, there was so much butter.
It was good.
I don't know. I actually lost a couple of pounds coming back, and I don't know how. I think it must have been the illness.
So we had a great time at PAX East. Outside of those little like downers, we had a fairly cool moment. We met up with all kinds of fans. You guys, there's you that we met out there, and there's a ton more of you. Mazers are fucking legion. You guys are everywhere. We couldn't go 5 minutes without somebody coming over saying, "We backed the game. We love the game. Oh my god, it's you." And they're watching the show right now. They're just not talking. Like they're in it. It's so cool.
A bunch of you got super exclusive stickers for like
Yeah.
coming by saying hi, saying that you donated. So we were trying to give back to those who we could.
Yeah.
And we were so thrilled to meet everybody who like actually been a part of it. It's so cool to like meet you guys in person. I just have to say that was like my favorite part.
Yeah.
Was it was cool telling people about the game that they hadn't heard of, but it was so much cooler meeting people who already knew, who were bringing their friends over en masse, just showing them the trailer, and I'd walk over and be like, "Hey, have you guys heard of Starr Mazer?" And they'd be like, No. We know.
Yeah.
I'm just here to tell my friends.
They would bring groups of friends.
And I would either Oh, Toast Beat, the stickers on my laptop. Yeah.
Hey, Fool to Dream, don't worry. We're getting to you, man. We're not there yet. You're part of our South by Southwest experience. So that's a big deal. We haven't even got there yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so PAX is cool. Vanessa took 2 days off. We didn't take any days off. We hung out with Kepa. I'm working with Kepa on something else.
And you hung out with Alex and Calvin as
Alex
well.
and Kelvin we hung out with. We went over to their place. We worked on that the Raygon head technology. So at South by Southwest it was incredible. And by the way, it was incredible. We'll get there in a second. But then I hung out with Kazuo, me, Kepa, and Kepa's brother John. We just went to this big house in Boston. And I laid on the couch, and they laid on the couch. They played Smash Brothers for hours. We played Pixel Glory, which is a cool.
I think I watched. I watched something on Netflix. It was this crazy
You
French.
were dead asleep.
I kept coming in and out of consciousness. They left. They came back. There were texts. I have no clue. It was 3 days of who knows what was going on. But you guys had a good time. Also, Alan, New Zealand, our long distance indie relationship. Not planning on coming to New Zealand.
Yeah, no. Give us a reason. Give us one reason. I would love. I've always wanted to go to New Zealand, man. Not because I'm actually not a big Lord of the Rings fan, so it's not. I'm not one of those guys. There's a whole country that's not related to Lord of the Rings that I would like to actually see.
I imagine that it would be like Austin, Texas, but even cooler.
I don't know why you said that. Where did those words come from?
Because there'd be meat everywhere, but friendliness.
Okay, but Austin was pretty friendly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. New Zealand would also be friendly and meat
friendly
everywhere.
and have meat. That makes it Austin, Texas.
It's a pretty unique set of values.
Kazuo's laughing over there, guys. You can't see it.
But it's like the same place.
Yeah,
admit it.
It's effectively the same place. They're all tiny little islands in the middle of nowhere.
And I'll be back.
No, don't. Alan's. Forget it. Forget it, Alan. New Zealand. She's fine. She's okay. She needs some back.
I'm still
great.
sick.
Can you bring those boxes over so we can get to them?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was PAX East. We had some great times. I know we're missing stuff, and if I am, I'm really sorry. But then we went to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. By the way, I hate Texas. I've said a million times all over the internet I hate Texas. And I think I'm wrong. I'm super wrong. I think I had just the weirdest experiences in Texas. All my Texas experiences have been crap. But I don't know that it was necessarily Texas. I think it was probably just weird experiences that via some kind of weird, planets alignment coincidence it felt like it was in Texas. I mean, yeah, I had times in Texas that were crap, and almost every other time I had in Texas was crap. But I don't actually now think that it was Texas. I actually think Texas is pretty incredible. And I'm gonna take my mom to Texas for her birthday this summer.
Does she know yet?
Yeah. I told her.
Cool.
I'm gonna take her on a barbecue run. We're gonna go do the barbecue belt. It's gonna be really cool. But yeah, man, we had an incredible time in Austin, Texas. Toast Beef says hello, Kaz, by the way. But yeah, we had an incredible time in Austin, Texas. Austin was inviting and welcoming and cool and awesome. The food was great. And the people were great. And everywhere was cool. There was a bunch of arcades we went to. Everything was awesome. South by Southwest was not awesome.
Well, we didn't experience.
No. Okay, South by Southwest Interactive was not awesome. So what happened was it was the first year they did this interactive thing, and so we found out quickly that there's a difference between PAX or GDC and South by Southwest. Namely, both PAX and GDC have a barrier to entry, which I'm not saying. Okay, so there's money and then there's interest. GDC, you've got to be a developer, and it costs a bunch of money. So that's a huge barrier. The audience is curated. PAX is curated in a different way. You have to be super interested in games, and you have to be in line to get the tickets really fast and whatever. And it's not money. I'm not trying to say that there's a financial level of curation that's important, or that people of a certain of any monetary class or whatever are better or worse than anybody else. I'm not saying anything like that. So please don't infer that from what I'm saying. I'm pointing out that there's an interest level. There's a barrier to entry that keeps you from going to PAX or GDC or Tokyo Game Show or E3 that didn't exist in the South by Southwest Interactive. People were literally wandering in off the street. You just walk up and they just give you a wristband, you walk in. And the problem with that is you get a place that's massively packed, full of people who don't know what they're looking at, who are definitely not interested, who don't want to go near booths. They're terrified of the idea of going near a booth.
They don't like
So-
playing the games.
Yeah, they don't. They're
Like,
afraid to touch a game because you
PAX,
don't just.
you like line up to wait.
Yeah.
Here you're like begging people to play the game, which is super bizarre.
Yeah.
And people are like weirded out by the idea of interacting on that level. Like they're like, oh, what? Like I don't know what they think.
I
is
actually
gonna
went up to a
happen.
group for Upsilon Circuit when I was sort of pitching for Upsilon Circuit. I ran over to a group. I'm like, guys, come play this game. It's really cool. And they're like, no thanks. And they started to walk away. And I ran in front of them. This is how I am in real life. I jumped in front of them. I'm like, why are you here? And they're like, well, I don't know, because the game. Like, cool, we got a game for you. And they're like, well, I don't know, man. I'm like, no, come here. It's super easy. Just walk over here and play a game. And it was really hard to get anybody to like care. And it was because
It was the dumbest experience.
it was weird, man. I don't think they kind of worked it out. I
No,
think curating the audience is important. If you want to show it, now granted, there's a plus and a minus. The plus is we showed people Upsilon Circuit and Starr Mazer because Starr Mazer had a booth there. We showed people
Again,
Starr
we didn't
Mazer.
even know.
We didn't even know. We'll get to that in a second. I want Kazuo to talk on that. But we showed people Starr Mazer and Upsilon Circuit who would never have heard of it. But here's the problem: those people left and probably will never look at it because they're not interested
They're
in
not
games.
like
And
our audience.
They're not. And they're not an audience. A lot of them went in and didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
They thought it would be a big arcade. They thought there would be like music going on. We had at Upsilon Circuit, people would come in and they didn't even know like what a console was. 6 to 8 out of 10 people had to ask what
Hello,
Steam was.
Triptide.
So that was a big thing. Hello, Triptide. So yeah, that was really weird. It was a really weird experience. It was packed full of people. And it was a lot of hard work, and we did a lot of showing. But it definitely wasn't. It wasn't the sort of curated experience we've come to expect and learn. And we didn't have the high value contacts we had through most of the time. We did have a bunch of people who had seen or known about or backed Starr Mazer. We met a bunch of devs. We met a bunch of press, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But those seemed like they had to be like experiences we had to go get, rather than experiences.
Yeah, I
we
have to
could
say,
have
like, we
just by default.
got, just from, like, a standpoint of, like, representing Starr Mazer, it, for me, it was the biggest failure of the trip, because, like, I talked to so few people about the game. We handed out, at PAX, we went through all of we had 2 boxes of postcards. We ordered like 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
We went through 2,000, we went through 2,000 in 2 days, okay?
And one of those days was a Sunday at PAX.
At South by Southwest, across 3 days of showing, we got rid of a stack this big.
Yeah, probably 100, 200.
We just couldn't, there was no interest. No one was really talking about it. We had a bunch of stickers that we brought there just in case, like, we ran into fans. And we gave, like, maybe 5 away. It was a super... The way that Calvin and Alex explained their experiences, they really felt like it was like going to a carnival.
Yeah, like a fair, like a street fair or
we
something.
were the hot tub guys trying to sell the hot tub at the carnival. And everyone's like, but I want to ride the rides.
And I have like a turkey leg. I don't want
and
a
I
hot
got a turkey
tub.
leg. I don't want to, like, go and talk to somebody about a hot tub. But it's weirder than that, I guess, because it's like being at having a hot tub expo inside of a carnival.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
it was just, like, not the right fit. And a lot of, unfortunately, like, for me, I realized very quickly that a lot of the people I was talking to were either extremely drunk or extremely high.
Yeah, they were giving away drinks as well, which is really weird. So
Yeah, considering that pizza was $12 a slice.
yeah.
Not kidding. Literally $12 a slice. It was the first time I did not buy pizza.
So yeah, Fool to Dream saw our booth. I'm gonna have Kazuo step in for a second and describe our booth. I gotta go run a quick errand for work stuff, but he's gonna come in and talk about our booth there and kind of the trials and tribulations he went through.
I'm gonna keep eating because this is like my breakfast.
Yeah, mine as well. I'm gonna have this other chip.
Yeah, they're slightly stale, but kind of in a good way.
In the best way.
In the
I'll be back, guys.
So Kazuo is going to pop in.
I'll sit on this side.
Yeah.
I put my name on this side, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I will go under my name and make sure I properly represent.
So the South by Southwest booth experience was interesting. Our original plan was the Indie Mix, also known as Indie Exchange from GDC. We're going to have this kind of big booth with 10 to 12 little indie developers there. And we were under the impression that they were only going to be there for one day. So one of the days...
One, like, small section of time. I didn't even think it was a day.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a 4-hour block.
So there was... We came into South by Southwest thinking that we would take one member and put him over into the Starr Mazer booth while this whole indie exchange mix was going on, talk about Starr Mazer, let people know all about it and how enthusiastic we are about it, and then come right back and help out with the Upsilon Circuit booth run by Robot Loves Kitty. When we got there, it turns out that the indie exchange actually had a permanent booth set up for all 3 days of the South by Southwest convention, and so it quickly became apparent that one of us would have to be sacrificed to go stand over there and
you
sell
being
Starr Mazer.
the best of our lambs.
So since Dawn was super tied up with Robot Loves Kitty, helping out Calvin and Alex,
so Don was doing that. He was working on Upsilon Circuit, and he was really there to represent. Like they had like specifically gotten us passes to help represent their booth. I was multitasking in that I was going to help out with Upsilon Circuit. I was also incredibly sick still, and I was also trying to download 500 gigs of footage on a laptop on Wi-Fi underneath the Upsilon Circuit booth, so I wasn't the best candidate.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No worries. And so I ended up being the guy being sent over, which was perfectly fine. By the way, hello Triptide, and hello Fool to Dream. It's nice to see you guys again.
And Ferioto, I think I know who you are. Maybe? He's talking about Felicia Day. Anyway.
He's a huge YouTuber right now, and he, besides swearing, a very G-rated person. Oh, very cool.
Oh, very cool. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know who you were. Hello. Welcome to the show.
So South by Southwest was very interesting in that regard. So I was primarily just over there at the Starr Mazer booth. The indie booth was set up in such a way that was kind of like a U on the outside with like a back portion which was 2 tables and then 2 tables in the very center. So every indie developer that got there first claimed one of the spots on the outside. And when we got there, by the time we got there, the only spots that really opened up that were any good were the ones in the rear tables that you could kind of face outwards. So it was very difficult for all of the indie developers to get proper exposure.
Hello, Radical Fish Games.
Hello, Radical Fish Games were actually 2 very, very cool gentlemen. The rest of their team were back in Germany. Very, very cool people that were running Crosscode right next to us at the Indie Mix booth. They were super cool guys. They had a playable demo. They were awesome. Unfortunately, we snaked the spot on the outside of the booth, so they had to kind of get a worse spot on the inside that was a bit difficult for them to get any traffic to come through. So aside from what Vanessa and Dom were talking about with the patrons of the event not being there so much into video games as much as, just being there for an event for event's sake, it was very difficult to try to entice people, to get them in, to talk about Starr Mazer, to show them about Starr Mazer, and really get them excited. So what I always ended up having to do was I had to zone in on a very, very particular set of audience members that, a specific demographic that I would then talk to and try to target them and try to get them to come in. And yes, Fool to Dream, we were also right next to Road Redemption, which is another very cool indie developer game that got funding and all that cool stuff. It's kind of like a spiritual successor to Road Rash. And so what I found out after working with the people who ran the Indie Mix event, we were trying to figure out a good solution that every indie developer could kind of be on the outside, and which really nothing came along, and everything we tried to propose ended up getting a lot of flack back. So my job in the end ended up being I stood on the outside of the booth actually and yelled at people to come and check out all of the indie games at the Indie Exchange, which was pretty cool because it got me to learn about people like Crosscode, Road Redemption, Read Only Memories, and Game Loading, which is an indie documentary that was also at the booth. So my sell for Starr Mazer was come to the Indie Exchange booth, look at all this cool stuff, including A, B, C, D. They're all so cool. I represent Starr Mazer, and then I would give them my pitch as well as the card, and then it would funnel people into the booth. It would get people on the inside some exposure, and all that really cool stuff. Basically, I just wanted to help out everybody as well as sell Starr Mazer, and there's some really cool people there with cool demos, and wanted to help them out as best as I could.
Ferrioto, okay, cool. We haven't met in person. Well, thank you very much for attending our channel. Hello. Radical Fish Games. I know that you and Kazuo had a really cool relationship by the end. You guys worked very hard together to show off the games in the best way you could in a very challenging space. And Triptide, Road Redemption, Starr Mazer cameo. You can call the Sun Spear and he will blow up the planet. You win, everyone's dead. Oh man, right? It's cool. We can you just write it, Triptide. You just write it.
That would be awesome.
This sounds genius. Yeah, I have to say from my experience of it, like, South by Southwest was the first of any convention I've been to so far in the last year where I've actually been given a certain amount of time off to go around and been told explicitly, go enjoy the games. I think that's because I was sick, and Calvin and Alex and Dom wanted me out of the booth. I'm pretty sure that was it. But I did actually go around. I played a bunch of indie devs games. It was a super cool experience in that I got to, like, I didn't have to wait in line for anybody. And I could just, like, hang out and meet some people, talk a little bit, and experience the show. But I would say I have no interest in ever attending South by Southwest Interactive personally, again, unless it changes dramatically. But as far as just visiting the city of Austin and hanging out in Austin, Texas, dude, that is a cool fucking city.
It was very cool.
It was a great place. I wish we had attended a little bit more of the South by Southwest stuff that was happening, the film stuff, but everything had huge lines. So we just kind of went off and did our own thing. We went to 2 crazy exclusive arcades, which Kazuo had a very special moment in one of them.
So she's talking about the 2 arcades we went to. Since South by Southwest was just in town and the interactive exhibit just ended, we decided to hit a local arcade in town called Arcade UFO, which looked like a really dinky place in the Google Maps, so we were kind of hesitant, and then we read the reviews saying that it was very Japanese style and heavily based off of fighting games. So Don and I, being huge fighting games fans, were like, oh yeah, we gotta go. So we went, and Gutex and Mike Ross were there. I don't know if you guys know them. They're from Cross Counter. They're huge on YouTube, huge in the FGC, the fighting game community. Very, very cool guys. And they were there just running a small exhibition, fighting the local community. And so for me, it was like, woo, I get to see these people I look up to in the FGC, take my picture with them, play against them, get my butt whooped. It was great, though. So we got to see them, which is super cool. And then we got to go to the other arcade, which Vanessa and Dawn had a really fun time at.
Oh my god, it was so cool. We spent so much money. It was ridiculous. Well, actually, at that first arcade...
We didn't really spend that much money.
Well, you spent much money.
No, we really didn't spend that much money there.
Oh, really?
No, I mean, we spent arcade money, which is like $20 a piece. On tokens or whatever.
Yeah, well, so I just wanted to say at the first one, so I'm not into, like, fighting games as much. Like, the only one I was really ever into was Soul Calibur 3. And, like, I played the shit out of that game. But aside from that, and, like, Mortal Kombat 2 and Street Fighter for the Super Nintendo. So it's been a while. Like, I'm not, like, huge into fighting games. I sat down. Oh, this was such a good experience for me. I sat down at a TMNT... which one was it? Which TMNT game was it?
Turtles in Time?
It wasn't Turtles in Time. I didn't go through time.
When TMNT the arcade.
So TMNT the arcade, sat down and played it from beginning to end. I beat it in the arcade. I've never had that experience before. And it was so cool to do that, to sit down in an arcade and beat an entire game. And it cost me more than I could probably buy that game now on eBay. But I don't care. Like, I got to have the experience. It was really neat. And I kept stopping to, Instagram photos of, the cinema screen, the little cinematics between the gameplay. And then, it would start up and I'd, miss... I'd be, half my life would be gone because I was busy, Instagramming because I'm that much of, a girl or hipster or whatever you want to call it. But it was so cool. And, I played Donnie all the way through. Which, by the way...
Let's not talk about that yet. Let's get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So, that was Arcade UFO.
So that was Arcade UFO.
Oh, my God. I played Guilty Gear XRD. I love it. I fell in love. I like researched it on the way home. Did all kinds of reading on it. I want that game. I'm gonna get that game after this. Like right after we're done. I want that game. I love it. I love it. It felt so good.
Mm-hmm.
I like the original. I played Guilty Gear and Guilty Gear X. I sucked at Guilty Gear X. It was the worst. So I gave up on it. But XRD, man, yeah, it was so good. What's up? They're probably old, man. Why are we? They're a million years old.
Well, you can get Guilty Gear Xrd on PSN and Xbox Live.
Yeah, I want it. I'm gonna get it. It looks so good. It feels good. It was really cool. Zoo Third, I don't. Zerd. Who gives it? Whatever. Yeah. Some of them are on Steam now. Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I love it. Xrd. That's dumb. That's dumb.
Is that the fighting one that you played the guy who was like the master of that game at?
Yeah, so I got bullwicked into something. I sit down to play Guilty Gear Xrd, just by myself, and a guy comes over and he just leans on and he's like, "Oh yeah, you want to play with a human being?" I'm like, no, but yeah, I guess fine. And he's like, okay, so you ever played this one before? I'm like, I don't even know what this game is called. Like, it doesn't look like Guilty Gear X. The characters all look different. I didn't know what it was. I was just like, sure. I've never played this though. I need you to know, I'm super tech at like Mortal Kombat, which is nothing like Guilty Gear. And he's like, oh no, it's cool. And he starts fucking just like laying into me. And he's like yelling across the way. He's like, now you gotta do a dust. Now you gotta do a cross combo reverse. He just keeps fucking going. And he's yelling at me these things. And he keeps putting his own money in. So you have to keep playing. Because you play by time. It was a timer, not a credits thing. So you kept putting more time in. And he's like, yeah, so I think you're getting it. You gotta figure out the kiss like cross combo change up, turn over, backward dust, triple bullshit. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, do you? And it turns out he's like a competitive Xrd player. Like
Everyone there that night was
a competitive fucking player. And nobody would want to play him. They all wanted to play Street Fighter 4. And he was just waiting for somebody to come over and play against him. And he goes, halfway through, the guy looks at me dead in the face and goes, it's really cool playing with you, man. Normally people don't even want to play me. And I'm just like, you dick! Like, I can't. Anyway, I loved it. It was a game where I felt it was fun, even just like
the buttons,
yeah. I was dude, Triptide. It's been a long time since I was like a button masher, but I was a button masher that day. I was like, at one point, I'm gonna push the dust button and some shit's gonna happen. I don't even know. Dust. I pushed a button called dust. It was awesome. Anyway, it felt good losing, which is why I think it's a good game. Like, when I play Kazuo in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, I can still feel the character. I used to play that all the time, and it's been a long time, and he plays it regularly, so it kind of bothers me that there are these years of missing whatever. But I can feel what I'm doing, and when I fuck up, I can feel that I'm fucking it up. And when I lose, I feel kind of shitty. Like, oh, man, I see where I've missed the time. I see where I've not put in the amount of time. In Mortal Kombat, I'm flashy and tech enough with it that I play like a bit of a meta game with it. So even if I lose, it's kind of fun. But Xrd, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I still loved it. It was still fun to play. It felt good, and the animations were solid. And every once in a while, you got to see that it was actually 3D models that they hand drew over, because the camera would like whip around and like, oh shit, that's so cool. It was pretty neat. I just want to watch the game.
Can I talk about the weird game I played?
Dude, do it.
So, again, at Arcade UFO. So, I'm, again, like, there's all these, like, giant things for fighting game people are no good.
The Daifuku have gone bad.
Okay, we need to toss them. It's been a long time. We need to do a new run.
Yeah.
I need mochi in that. So I'm not, like, a big game fighter person, and there were, like, all these people there to, like, tournament and practice and be the best. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll play like the dancing game or whatever, which I know I'm terrible at, but I was like, well, at least that would give me something to do and I can like move around a bit or something. And there were like two guys who were trading on and off and getting in their like dance game fighting or dance game time. They were like practicing, and I think they were like mega like people up in the competitive dance game circle, because like I watched one guy do it and he didn't miss like a single note in the entire song, and I was like, Jesus. And they came with like towels, and they were like, they needed to like have water in between and then like go back, and so I was like, I can't play that. And I like played the crap out of this one like little puzzle game, but it was good, but it was not like enough to like keep you going. And I beat Ninja Turtles, so I went over to this like driving game, because I love driving games like a lot. They're really fun. And I grew up on San Francisco Rush and games like that. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna play this driving game. And I get in it, and I'm like, it has all these options, and it costs like $1 million to like play. And I keep going through these options and I end up with the stupidest car. I end up with like a fucking, oh man, I wish I could remember what it was. It was like a Subaru Impreza that I'm racing with, because I just keep hitting the buttons trying to find the flashiest car.
She's talking about Initial D, by the way.
Like, I end up with a fucking Subaru Impreza. And then it's like, would you like to do story mode or these two other modes? I have no clue what means.
I do actually believe the Subaru Impreza is like the like the main character's car in Initial D.
It's so bad.
You're like, I ended up with some dumb car.
It was the worst car. So, like, you start off the game in story mode, and you're driving with your friends on the freeway, and you decide to race another guy in high school, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm racing now. And you're like, okay, cool, I'm racing. I guess I won that race. And then it's like, cool, you get to, like, you won, so you get to like upgrade your car, put in 8 more quarters to play the next race. And I'm like, fuck you, I'm not racing in a Subaru Impreza for like another level in this stupid game. So I started over, and I put in a bunch more money for a different way of playing, which was like, you have to beat 9 people on one track. So you're going through this one track, and by the time you get to the end, you have to have beaten all 9 of the people. And I played that like 3 or 4 times, and that was really fun. But this was like the weirdest driving game I've ever played. Like, it was so much story, and I didn't understand what was happening. And there was a girl, and I don't know if I liked her or not, but she said I was too addicted to the drive, and I couldn't disagree, because you can't like type in like, sorry babe, but I choose the car over you. So you just had to accept her words and continue with your life. I had a great time, but I felt like emotionally changed by this driving. I chose a much better car. I chose a Toyota. A fast-ass, awesome Toyota racing vehicle. It was, and blue. It was blue, shiny blue, so I could see my car when racing against others.
Can I show you guys something really quick? This is completely off topic, but I just wanted to remind you why you don't want to move to Seattle, because it's dark and rainy and shitty all the time. This is my day, Seattle. Welcome to Seattle, the shittiest, darkest, rainiest place on earth.
It's really nice today. It's like warm.
Crazy. It's insane.
I'm tank topping it for the first time of the year.
I can't. The worst. Okay, so that was our. At that time, I had a phone call with a really cool publisher. We talked about it. Turned out that this publisher has a publishing round every X amount of time, and there are 3 like company heads that get together and talk about it and bring their ideas to the table, and every single one of those company heads had brought Starr Mazer to the table on that publishing round. So. I had a nice long conversation about that. It was pretty cool. Yeah, so that was Arcade UFO. We went to... Oh, okay, so let's talk about Fool to Dream.
Yeah.
So, Fool to Dream... By the way, Mazers, if you want to hear the power of Mazer, Fool to Dream is a definite... He's a Mazer plus. He shows up on Saturday at South by Southwest. All I know is that Fool to Dream lives in Texas. Now, granted, I don't know if any of you are from not the United States, you'll recognize that Texas is large. Like, you're from Europe, you'll recognize that Texas is large as like 1/3 to 1/2 of your entire like continent. So, it's a big ass place. But I just like, he's in Texas, and he texted me, he said he was gonna come visit. So cool, he'll show up and visit. So he comes by, and he came by on Saturday. And we'd had plans on Saturday night to have dinners with a guy.
Stalker.
well, not a star. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
But with a cool businessy dude, and I was probably gonna talk some business. So, he showed up and asked if he'd come to dinner, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, man." He hung out. We hung out for a little bit. He came, saw our tiny little dinky booth, and said, "You know, you mind if I stop in for dinner?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I can't actually. We got this other meeting, but let's meet up tomorrow. It'd be no big deal." And he's like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "Cool, for dinner?" And he's like, "Well, I have to be home for dinner. How about lunch?" I was like, "Sure, man, that sounds great. I'm gonna go on stage and like work with Calvin and Alex to do a promo for Upsilon Circuit, and after that, I'm kind of free. So let's do lunch. It sounds good." So he's a super nice dude. We'd seen him at PAX South. That was where we kind of like engaged for the first time, and he took off. And we went and had the dinner thing that we had to do, and like did that. It was a cool adventure. We'll talk about it at some point. But next day comes, we're doing our work. We go up on stage, come off stage. There's Fool to Dream. Hey, Fool to Dream, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? We start driving to lunch, and we're just talking. We're shooting the shit, just making small talk. And it turns out Fool to Dream lives like 3 to 3.5 hours away from South by Southwest. He had showed up previously, the previous day, just to say hi, potentially hang out with us, but no big deal that we couldn't. He drove 6 to 7 hours that day. And then the next day, he drove 7 more hours to like drive. He did 3.5 hours, hang out with us, 3.5 back, just to have some lunch with us. That's
he took us to a
fucking
cool
incredible. Yeah, he took
place.
us to the Austin Chili Bar.
Yeah.
With a chili parlor, which was incredible. And we had like 9 different types of chili.
Yeah.
We hung out, we shot the shit, we had a great time. It was really cool. He gave us a cool time after driving 3.5 hours to see us, and then giving me a copy of Sternwind to play with you guys, and then driving 3.5 hours home. Like, what the? Yeah.
Oh, he says he stayed in Austin.
Oh, well, fuck you then. Whatever. Not cool.
That actually makes me feel so much
it makes me feel
better.
incredible as well.
Because I
But
was
it was
like, oh
still
my
pretty
God.
cool that you drove 3.5 hours out, hung out, and then, I mean,
He said
That's-
waited forever.
yeah.
While we had to.
We had to close up our booth, which took like forever.
because we
It
gave
was-
up on. We gave up on South by Southwest on the last day. We were just like,
Yeah,
no,
so we
close
had
down
to
the booth.
shake down our booth, get everything packed up, get everything ready to go. He hung around, he helped out, it was really cool. So, Fool to Dream, thank you. It was a really cool experience meeting you. It was really nice hanging out with you. We've had the best experience with you guys. You Mazers are the best people. That's one of the coolest things to come out of this whole thing, is the people. Like, I wanted to make a game, and I'm way more. I mean, we're making the game, and we're super into it. We'll get into our art thing in a second, just before we get into boxes and games. But on a daily basis, I'm way more concerned about you guys than I am about the game. I know we'll do the game. Cool. I want to make sure you guys get what you deserve. That's the coolest part.
Fool to Dream. You think Don leaks a lot?
Oh yeah, Fool to Dream. I kind of told him some shit. You guys are lucky. If you ever want to know a bunch of information I'm not allowed to legally say, just come have lunch with me.
Yeah, it's
Or
true.
shut up.
It's the best.
I'm kidding.
Actually,
Anything I'm under actual like NDA not to say, I don't say.
And-
Just so you know, for real.
And we had a great experience with Fool to Dream. I'm hoping in the future for Starr Mazer TV episodes we'll be able to incorporate more people who are awesome fans. And I know Radical Fish Games, who had Crosscode, who we were in the booth near at the
We had
Mix
an
at
awesome
South by
dinner with
Southwest.
them.
We had a great time with them. We're also gonna have them on the show this coming week.
I thought it was Tuesday, correct?
It's Tuesday. Is this Tuesday? Radical Fish Games from Germany will be live on the show. By the way, you guys, Felix and Flo, Tough Flo, you guys are incredible. We had a great time with you guys. I had the best moment, and like I love introducing people to new stuff. That's why I like telling stories and making movies and making games, because I can introduce really cool. Hey, wait! Sorry, guys. Thank you, Pyro Insane, for hosting us. We met you at PAX East. It was really fucking cool. It was awesome. Yes, Radical Fish Games. It was Tuesday. Bart Tweed, thank you for the follow. That's great. It's been a long time since somebody followed us.
Pizza.
One day we'll have pizza. So anyway, I like introducing people to new things, new ideas, new stories, new moments, new experiences. I got to show Kazuo a bunch of cool experiences. That was pretty neat. I'm driving in the car, and Teflo hadn't heard of Outrun Core before, which is like my favorite style of music. So I turned on some Wave Shaper, who's like one of my favorite music artist. He's also working on Starr Mazer, by the way. It's pretty great. I flipped on Wave Shaper. We pull our car up onto this elevated highway, like super highway, and went over like 6 different concrete roads, and the music's going, and there's in the distance you can see Austin's like city lights, and we're driving, and I look back, and Teflo's just staring out the window, going like this, going to the music. His eyes are wide. He's just like staring at. It was the coolest. I'm like, yeah, dude, this is a moment. We've just invented a moment. It was really cool. It was a neat experience.
Yeah, we had a great time. Although that restaurant was a little. They had some good milkshakes.
Yeah, the restaurant was poop, but the milkshakes were cool.
Was it Flo who had the really good milkshake?
Flo got a peanut butter and chocolate milkshake.
That was good. We each like tried each other's milkshakes. Wait till you guys get sick.
Yeah. So
Next.
So that was South by Southwest. I mean, there was some other stuff. Oh, we hung out all out with why my brain is freaking out with Rekadam.
Oh, and Rekadam.
Yeah. Which was awesome.
And Rocket.
Oh, we'll get to Andy in a second.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, we hung out with Rekadam. We went and had barbecue with Rekadam, which is really cool.
Yeah.
He and I got into a really cool philosophical discussion about like just being yourself, and like it was really cool, man. It was a neat moment. It's one of those cool like chill out with some really cool dudes moment. Rekadam, one of the people, made me feel like I was part of a thing. That guy made me feel straight up like I was just part of a thing. Like I was cool. That guy's super cool, and I was just cool, man. Just chilling with Rekadam. It was really neat. We got to hang out with Jake and Nadja, his partner from Pixelborn. They were really cool. That was their first ever con, which is really neat. And I was the whole time we're like, don't worry, guys, it's actually better than this. So yeah, there's also Andy from Rockets. We Imagos Films and Rockets. What am I saying? Radial Games are gonna get together and do a thing soon. You guys are gonna like it. Multiple things actually. It's gonna be very cool. Yeah. So. Thank you, Pyro. Insane. That's really cool, man. That makes me feel awesome. That makes me feel awesome.
Pyro Insane is my hero.
He was so cool. Like
He's the
he came up. He had like the tight tee and the cool logo and the awesome fucking beard. And he's like, "Hey guys," I'm like, "You're awesome! Just by default, you're amazing."
He's like a cool human being.
Yeah.
He
invited us to a party that we couldn't go to.
Partly my fault. I was so sick.
She was so sick, guys.
Pyro, are you healthy? Are you okay? I want to know how far this reaches. I want to know this play results.
So it was really neat, and of course Alex and Calvin from Remoteless Kitty. We had great times with them too. They're close friends of ours. So I feel like we're doing the thing where like we don't mention them because we're like so close friends. We're not like it was amazing, but it was because it was by default amazing. Yeah. But it was amazing. It was a great time, and the Raygon thing came off without a hitch. It was really great. We went on stage with it. Yeah. It was pretty cool, man. So we also I played Children of Morta. It's pretty awesome. I got to meet up with the actual devs.
We got to meet up with them.
Not just Armin, but the other guys.
I totally ninja'd it.
Did
so
you?
when I went around, like that time where you guys made me leave the booth because I was ill or whatever, I don't know. You just don't like me anymore. And I like went around and played all the games. I went and like played Children of Morta, and I didn't tell the guy who I was or anything. I was just playing, and he was like, "Oh, you can blah blah blah. I know this is an early build." And he was telling me all this stuff that I really, really know.
Yeah.
Because I really, really know all about their game.
Yeah.
Because we've got a crossover with them, so and we helped each other through the entire Kickstarter. So I'm like, oh, cool. And he's like, oh, and each of the characters, there's only 3 playable right now, but each of the characters are gonna have their own skills.
Did you ever reveal?
I did at the very end. So I'm playing, and I'm like, oh, I'm good. I actually, he's like, play another character. There's no one in line. I was like, no.